Right, Melbourne sitting at just 14 degrees this morning, while Darwin S only hitting 26. Yeah, you heard that right. The top end cooler than what we're seeing down south. Bit unusual, that one. Is your area about to cop a massive temperature swing in the next 48 hours? Because the models are showing some pretty wild shifts right across the eastern seaboard. We've currently got severe weather warnings active for parts of New South Wales, Queensland and South Australia, affecting roughly 12 million Australians. In the next 2 minutes, I'll give you exact timing for when these changes hit Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth, Adelaide, Hobart, Darwin and Canberra. But first, chuck your location in the comments right now and I'll get you a personalised forecast for tomorrow video. All right, let's break this down city by city. Sydney, you are looking at 32 degrees today, dropping to 28 tomorrow. Then a proper southerly buster Friday afternoon, bringing you back to 22. Melbourne, steady climb from 14 this morning to 26 by Wednesday. Then you cop the change too, back to 18 by Friday evening. Brisbane, sticky 31 today, 32 tomorrow. No real relief until the weekend when you might see 28. Perth, absolute perler of weather. 34 today, 33 tomorrow, mid-30s through to Sunday. Adelaide, 29 today, climbing to 32 midweek before that cool change arrives Friday. Hobart, you are the cool kid at 19 degrees today, nudging 22 by Thursday. Darwin, 26 this morning, which is genuinely unusual. Back to your normal 31 by tomorrow. Canberra, 31 today, could touch 34 Wednesday before that change. Now, here's the thing. Access is showing this cold front arriving Friday afternoon around 3 p.m. for Sydney, but the European model reckons closer to 6 p.m. That 3-hour difference is massive if you've got outdoor plans. We'll have a better idea tomorrow morning once the latest runs come through. Let me give you the broader picture because there's a fair bit going on. We've got a heat trough sitting right across inland New South Wales and Queensland, pushing temperatures up to 38, 39 degrees through places like Dubbo, Wagga Wagga and Toowoomba. At the same time, there is a strong high-pressure system over the Tasman, keeping coastal areas a touch cooler with those easterly sea breezes. For you lot in regional New South Wales, Newcastle looking at 30 degrees today with afternoon sea breezes. Wollongong, similar story at 29. Coffs Harbour, bit warmer at 32. The Hunter Valley, yeah, you're recopping it, 37 degrees inland around Muswell Brook and Singleton. Victoria, let's talk about you. Geelong matching Melbourne at 26 today. Ballarat, bit cooler at 23. Bendigo warming up to 28. Shepparton in the Goulburn Valley could touch 30. The Murray River towns, Echuca, Wodonga, you are looking at 31, 32 degrees. Queensland, the coastal strip is not too bad, but inland is cooking. Gold Coast 30 degrees with that humid easterly flow. Sunshine Coast 29. Townsville 32 degrees with building humidity. Cairns, you're at 31 with afternoon storms likely. Hang on, let me clarify that. Those storms are more likely Tuesday and Wednesday rather than today. Toowoomba on the ranges, 28 degrees, but Rocky Mackay, you are both sitting around 32. Actually, I should be more specific about those Queensland storms because the timing matters. The monsoonal trough is sitting across the far north, and we're expecting it to push south midweek. That means Wednesday afternoon through Thursday, southeast Queensland could see some decent rainfall. Brisbane, models are showing anywhere from 20 to 50 millimetres, but there's still a bit of uncertainty around exactly where the heaviest falls will be. Western Australia, you've got it pretty good. Perth 34, as I mentioned. Bunbury slightly cooler at 30. Geraldton up at 33. And if you're way up in Broome, 35 degrees with low humidity, which is about as good as it gets for the northwest. Down in the southwest, Margaret River sitting at a lovely 28 degrees, perfect for the vineyards. South Australia, Adelaide 29 today, climbing higher midweek. Mount Gambier on the border there, cooler at 24 degrees. Whyalla and Port Augusta in the north, you're both around 33, 34 degrees. The Barossa Valley, McLaren Vale, similar to Adelaide, high 20s today, low 30s Wednesday. Right, if you haven't dropped your location in the comments yet, do it now because I may be seeing some pretty interesting variations for tomorrow, and I reckon a lot of you will want specific timing for your area. Tasmania, Hobart 19, as I said. Launceston slightly warmer at 21. Devonport on the north coast, 20 degrees with a bit of cloud around. You're getting the most stable weather in the country right now, to be honest. Northern Territory, Darwin 26 this morning, which is genuinely odd for this time of year. You should be sitting at 30, 31 minimum. There's a weak trough overhead dropping temperatures temporarily, but you'll be back to normal tomorrow. Alice Springs in the centre, 41 degrees. Yep, 41, that's proper desert heat. Katherine up near the top end, 38 degrees. Now here, where it gets interesting. Around the 7-minute mark, I'm going to show you something about next weekend that the models are disagreeing on pretty significantly. But let me get through the immediate forecast first. The ACT, Canberra sitting at 31 today, as mentioned, but you need to know about the fire danger. Total fire ban declared for tomorrow across the ACT and southern New South Wales tablelands. Extreme fire danger rating. With temperatures hitting 34 and relative humidity dropping below 15%, conditions are going to be pretty sketchy. If you are in the Snowy Mountains region, Cooma, Jindabyne, same deal applies. Back to the coast, the ocean temperatures are worth mentioning because they running warmer than average. Sydney beach is 23 degrees, Melbourne beach is 19 degrees, which is actually the warmest of the year so far. Brisbane 27 degrees, which is gorgeous for swimming. Perth 21 degrees, Adelaide 20 degrees. If you are in Cairns, the water S sitting at 29 degrees, but remember at S still stinger season up there. Only swim in the netted enclosures. There's one thing that S got me concerned about this week, and I'll get to that at the 12-minute mark. Trust me, you'll want to hear this one. Let me talk about the wind because it's going to be a factor, particularly Wednesday and Thursday. Sydney westerlies picking up Wednesday afternoon, 25 to 35 kilometres per hour, could gust to 50. That is going to push fire danger up even higher. Melbourne northerlies ahead of the change, 30 to 40 k's an hour Wednesday, then swinging southwesterly behind the front. Brisbane, you getting humid easterlies, 15 to 25 k's an hour, nothing dramatic. Perth, the Fremantle Doctor doing its thing each afternoon, 20 to 30 k's an hour, absolutely textbook sea breeze. Adelaide, northerlies strengthening Wednesday to 30 to 40 k's an hour, dry and hot. Bit of a mixed bag across New South Wales this week. The far north coast around Byron Bay, Lismore, you are looking at afternoon storms Tuesday and Wednesday, potentially 20 to 40 millimetres. Mid-North Coast, Port Macquarie, Taree, drier conditions with just isolated showers possible. South Coast, Bateman's Bay, Merimbula, Yuri staying mostly dry until that Friday change. Victoria, pretty straightforward week for you. Mostly dry conditions apart from Friday when the front comes through. Could see 5 to 15 millimetres in Melbourne and the ranges probably staying dry in the north and west. Queensland, let's break this down more carefully because the rainfall is patchy. Far north Queensland, the tablelands could see 50 to 100 millimetres Tuesday through Thursday as that monsoon trough becomes active. Coastal areas like Cairns, Innisfail, 20 to 60 millimetres. Central Coast, Mackay to Gladstone, 10 to 30 millimetres in storms. Southeast Queensland, as I mentioned, 20 to 50 millimetres Wednesday, Thursday, but it's going to be hit and miss. Some areas might get flooded with 50 mils, others might barely see 10. Actually, let me check that again. The latest access runs are showing the heaviest Queensland rainfall slightly further north than earlier models suggested. So Bundaberg, Hervey Bay, you might be in for more significant falls than Brisbane and the Gold Coast. We'll know more tomorrow. Western Australia, Yuri staying dry. Simple as that. Maybe 1 or 2 showers in the far southwest Friday, but we're talking 5 millimetres maximum. This is peak Perth summer weather. South Australia, mostly dry through Wednesday. Then as that front approaches Thursday, Friday, Adelaide could see 10 to 25 millimetres. The mid-north similar. The southeast could get up to 40 millimetres in some locations. Tasmania, you'll see the front arrive Friday night into Saturday. Hobart, Launceston, western regions could see 15 to 30 millimetres. Nothing too dramatic, but enough to keep things green. Northern Territory, Darwin, Uri, looking at typical wet season afternoon storms, 10 to 25 millimetres each day this week. Alice Springs, mostly dry, maybe an isolated storm bringing 5 to 10 millimetres at best. Now, about 3 minutes in, I asked you to drop your location in the comments. If you haven't yet, do it now. I go through every single comment, and tomorrow's video I'll have personalised forecasts for as many locations as I can cover. Let's talk about what is happening in the atmosphere because this is actually pretty interesting from a meteorological standpoint. We've got the subtropical ridge sitting south of the continent, which is normal for this time of year. But the position of the jet stream is quite a bit further south than average, and that S creating this north-south temperature gradient. The isobars are really tight across the bight Wednesday into Thursday, which is why we're re-seeing those strong northerly winds ahead of the change. The pressure gradient between the inland heat trough and the Tasman high is driving those easterlies along the Queensland coast. And as the trough moves east, that S, when we get the convergence and the storm development, fairly textbook stuff, but the timing and intensity, let's see where the models are still working things out. Here, S, where the model disagreement comes in. For next weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Access is showing a low pressure system developing in the Tasman and potentially affecting the New South Wales coast. The GFS model agrees, but the European model has this system staying further offshore and weakening. This difference is pretty significant because If Access and GFS are right, Sydney, Newcastle, Wollongong, you could see 50 to 100 millimetres Saturday into Sunday with gale force winds. If the European model S right, you will barely see a shower. Tomorrow morning S runs should sort this out, so definitely check back. For the island territories, Christmas Island 30 degrees with afternoon storms likely. Cocos Islands 29 degrees. Similar story. Norfolk Island, you are sitting at 24 degrees today, mostly sunny, but you'll want to watch that Tasman low development for the weekend too. The Indian Ocean dipole is currently neutral, and we're in an ENSO neutral phase, so no strong El Nino or La Nina influence at the moment. That means we're rerunning on more typical weather patterns without those big climate drivers pushing things one way or the other. Fire danger, I mentioned the total fire ban for tomorrow in the ACT and southern New South Wales tablelands. Additionally, extreme fire danger rating for northern Victoria Wednesday, particularly around Bendigo, Echuca, Shepparton. Very high fire danger for South Australia, S, Mid-North and York Peninsula Wednesday and Thursday. If you're in these areas, absolutely no outdoor fires. Be careful with machinery that could create sparks and have your bushfire plan ready. Yeah, look, I know this isn't too ideal for anyone with outdoor plans midweek, but the heat and wind combination is genuinely dangerous. We've seen what can happen when conditions align like this. Check back tomorrow because that Tasman low is going to become a lot clearer, and I'll have specific rainfall totals and wind forecasts for the entire New South Wales coast and eastern Victoria. There is also something developing in the Coral Sea that I am keeping an eye on. It's not a cyclone yet, just a monsoon low, but the water temperatures up there are 29, 30 degrees, which is plenty warm enough for development. The models are split on whether this intensifies or just fizzles out. If it does develop, we're looking at next week, Monday, Tuesday timeframe, and the track could bring it anywhere from far north Queensland to staying well offshore. Way too early to say, but it's worth monitoring. I'll have updates daily. The thing about this week is the compounding factors. It's not just the heat, it's the heat combined with low humidity and strong winds Wednesday. It's not just the storms in Queensland, it's the storms hitting areas that are already saturated from previous rainfall. It's not just the cool change Friday, it's the timing of when it arrives affecting whether you get severe weather or just a gentle drop in temperature. For coastal New South Wales and southeast Queensland, if you are into fishing or boating, Wednesday, Thursday looking a bit rough, 2 metre swells on the New South Wales coast, 1.5 to 2 metres in southeast Queensland, winds 20 to 30 knots, not ideal. Friday onwards, conditions improve as that front moves through. The UV index this week is going to be extreme right across the country. We're talking 9 to 11 plus, slip, slop, slap without fail. Even 20 minutes in the sun without protection can cause damage. All right, at the 12-minute mark, I said I'd tell you the one thing that is concerning me. It is the potential for severe thunderstorms Wednesday afternoon across inland New South Wales and southern Queensland. When you get that combination of heat, instability and wind shear, we are forecasting you can get supercells. We are talking large hail, damaging winds potentially exceeding 90 kilometres per hour, heavy rainfall and even the chance of isolated tornadoes. Places like Dubbo, Orange, Bathurst, Tamworth in New South Wales and Toowoomba, Warwick in Queensland need to be alert Wednesday afternoon. The Bureau will issue severe thunderstorm warnings if these develop, so keep an eye on the bomb warnings page and their app. These storms can develop quickly, so don't wait until you see them on the horizon. After those concerning forecasts, let me give you the positive side. Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne, Hobart, you are all getting beautiful weather for most of the week. Perfect beach days, perfect for outdoor activities. The cool change Friday is actually going to be quite pleasant, not severe. And even in Sydney and Brisbane, mornings should be lovely before things heat up each afternoon. So quick recap in natural speech. Hot midweek, particularly inland. Storms for Queensland and northern New South Wales, Tuesday, Wednesday. Cool change sweeping east Friday. Possible coastal system next weekend, still uncertain. Fire danger Wednesday is serious, respect the warnings. And that Coral Sea low, I'm watching it, updates daily. Look, forecasting S never 100% certain, especially once you get beyond 72 hours. The models are constantly updating, new data comes in and things can shift. That S, why I do these videos every day, because yesterday S forecast isn't T necessarily today S forecast. For tomorrow, I'll have that updated Tasman low information, clearer rainfall totals for Queensland, and more detail on next week S potential cyclone development. Plus, I'll go through all your comments and get you personalised forecasts for your specific locations. If you haven't commented yet, third time asking, drop your city or town below. Doesn't matter if it is a capital or some tiny spot in the outback, I'll do my best to get you a forecast tomorrow. Really appreciate you watching and, more importantly, staying informed about what is happening with our weather. It matters, particularly this week with those fire dangers and severe storm risks. Tomorrow S video will be up at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. See you then. Stay safe out there, especially Wednesday, and if you are in those fire danger areas,